Did you ever think Manchester City could lose 3-1 to Bodø Glimt? This match was a shocker, and it wasn't just about the scoreline, it was a complete tactical unravelling. Manchester City, known for their dominance in possession and precision, looked utterly out of their depth on artificial turf. This wasn't just a bad day, it was a meltdown, and it exposed a lot more than just pitch issues. Let's break it down. Sure, this is known as a so-called hellish home ground, but it's not like no teams have ever won here before, as Monaco and Juventus have done it, for example. Teams that don't rely on prolonged possession and instead favour quick counter-attacks usually don't struggle too much here. But if your game is built on slow build-up play and intricate ground-based organisation, this kind of pitch will trip you up. So if supporters of Ruben Amorim try to use this result to argue that if a team like FK Bodø Glimt can beat Manchester City 3-1, then why is it so surprising if Manchester United wins under Michael Carrick? That's an unfair comparison. This stadium is essentially Manchester City's kryptonite, and you can't equate it to the natural grass conditions of the Premier League. Of course, the home team's organisation wasn't bad either. When it came to pressing, their number 10 cutting inside from the right and driving shots toward the far post was particularly sharp. But today, Manchester City looked nothing like themselves. Their cross-field passes were inaccurate, and every long-range attempt misfired. In the Premier League, even heavy rain can disrupt City's passing game, let alone artificial turf. Pitch quality has always been a critical factor in how City plays. Even a world-class distributor like Rodri completely lost his precision today. In recent league matches, his playmaking hasn't been the issue. His struggles have been more about defensive lapses and form. But today, even simple switches of play ended up as mishit passes, either underpowered or misdirected. This led to Rodri repeatedly gifting possession, directly contributing to the second and third goals before eventually getting sent off. The shooting was even more telling. Players just couldn't connect cleanly. Ryan Cherki's long-range effort wasn't even on target initially, it only went in after a deflection. Before that goal, Phil Foden also had a shot that missed entirely, but rebounded off a defender, setting up Cherki's follow-up. For most of the game, City's players struggled to strike the ball cleanly, while the home team consistently hit sweetly, because they're used to artificial turf. They adjusted their technique, using less instep and more controlled angled strikes. The power wasn't always high, but the accuracy was. City, meanwhile, rely on instep strikes, quick footwork and run-up rhythms tailored to natural grass, none of which worked here. When your fundamentals collapse, everything else falls apart. Build-up play stagnated, decision-making slowed, because the technique wasn't there. And with the home team pressing aggressively, City barely strung passes together. This was a game where City should have relied on individual brilliance. Less build-up, more direct running after winning the ball with one or two players driving forward. That's how the home team played too, but with rotated personnel, City had no one suited for that. Savio wasn't even registered for this stage of the Champions League, so he couldn't play. If they wanted to shift into so-called championship mode, only Cherki and Foden were left as attacking outlets, but neither is a pure speed-based dribbler. Trying intricate central combinations and quick 1-2s before shooting simply didn't work on this surface and against this intensity. Long shots weren't connecting, and Erling Haaland's poor form continued. Playing him without rest only risks injury. Going down to 10 men in the second half made the attacking challenge even harder than in the Manchester derby. As for the defence, it was even more indefensible. You can blame the pitch for attacking struggles, but the defending repeated the same issues exposed in the derby. While the back line is younger and faster now, they completely failed at first contact interceptions. In the Premier League, conceding counters is inevitable. The key is disrupting the first pass to slow the opponent's transition and reduce the threat. But Max Alleyne repeatedly failed to stop that first pass, compounding it with mistakes, just like against United. The first two counter-attack goals came from this, and Rodri's second yellow, leading to the red, also stemmed from an initial failed interception. Additionally, the defensive line lacked coordination, with offside traps as poorly managed as in the derby. The opponent was caught offside twice, not by design but just from being half a step too eager. In aerial duels, Abdulkadir Kusanov at centre-back looked too short and physically outmatched, and since he couldn't cut out ground passes either, the entire defence looked vulnerable. Even Liverpool's high line at its worst wasn't this shaky, and their results were already inconsistent back then. That tells you all you need to know about City's current state. I've said since Kusanov's arrival that in the Premier League he'd be best as a right-back, not a starting centre-back. But injuries forced the issue. Today I really miss Nathan Ake in the middle. Even if not at his best, he'd still be an upgrade. Now with the January window, City had no choice but to spend 20 million on a plug-and-play solution, someone like Marc Guéhi. Given how dire things are, that caliber of ready-made reinforcement could at least stop the bleeding. Amorim's fans now hope City loses to Wolverhampton Wanderers next, proving that anyone can beat this version of Manchester City and giving them more ammunition. Will it happen? It depends on the defensive lineup. If Guéhi can start immediately and Ake returns fit, this centre-back pairing would be far better at cutting out first passes than Kusanov and Elneny, reducing counter-attack threats. The issue is that neither excels aerially, and Wolves have multiple strikers over 1.9 meter tall. But overall, fearing high balls is still preferable to fearing ground counters. The latter are deadlier and transition faster. If Kusanov and Elneny start again, Wolves could easily pull off an upset. Up front, if Savio and Jeremy Doku return, outscoring opponents might mask defensive issues, making a Wolves win less likely. We'll see. Rotation also highlighted squad limitations. Omar Marmoush wasn't registered for this Champions League stage, ruling him out. Against United, Brian Mbeumo's hold-up play easily bypassed the first line, becoming the counter-attack catalyst. Today's first-half counters followed the same logic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a comment, hit like and subscribe to show your support. Your engagement keeps this channel going.